shows you the Championship. Bristol City, unbeaten. Oxford haven't won a game. And Oxford go there and they win their first game. Bristol City lose there. It just shows you, in a nutshell, that game is typical Championship, isn't it?
So welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue. And this season we thought we'd do something a little bit different and come to you with a roundup of the Championship fixtures. Now this week it's game week 6. We're going to be going through the whole of the Championship, the scores that have happened, and giving our thoughts on some of the games, and also give some highlights. And that's how Dad usually likes to start the video. So Dad, what are your thoughts on game week 6? Is there any particular games that stood out for you?
Just to mention, at the time of recording, this is Sunday, there is one more game to go that won't appear in this podcast, which is Millwall versus Watford, which is being played on Monday. So we will cover that possibly as an extra in game week 7 and just refer to that game, just so people know if you're a Millwall fan or a Watford fan. I'm wondering why not it covers because you haven't played yet. I think if any week demonstrates what the Championship all about, you look at the results in this week, it shows you that this term is bandied about so much in the Championship. Anybody can beat anybody, and I think this is a prime example this week of what's happened. There are lots of standout results for me. Charlton winning at Sheffield United, but is that really a surprise? We'll come on to that. Well, I suppose the Chris Wilder return. I think the Sheffield United fans were probably hoping for better. Wrexham's win at Norwich was a great victory for them as well. Sheffield Wednesday winning their first game of the season against Portsmouth. Preston winning at Derby, it goes on and on. We're going to go through the games.
You've pretty much done it.
I know. I've probably gone through every fixture, but there's so many results that I didn't personally expect. And even today, Oxford beating Bristol City at Bristol City.
At Bristol City as well.
Yeah. So, and again, I think any team, including our team, Birmingham City in the Championship, will know that, from week to week, you could have a great result one week and then suddenly you're completely scuppered by the following week. And that's why the Championship is so fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah. Best league in the world in some regards. In that
brilliant
context of anyone can beat anyone. And this season, Dad, I know we've said this a decent amount this year so far, but if you think about Leicester, Ipswich and Southampton with the start of the seasons they're having, and granted, they will pick up, of course they will. This season really is completely wide open, isn't it? I think we're going to see some new teams up the top. We might even see some dark horses take the automatics this season. Who knows? But anyway, let's get into it and we'll go from there. So I'll go for the Friday game, Dad, then the 12:30s, and then the usual games in order.
Yeah, well, you give the order.
As close to an order as I can. So the Friday game this weekend, Dad, which I did get to watch. I was kids were down asleep. I grabbed myself some chocolate and watched it, and it was Middlesbrough at home to West Brom, which finished 2-1.
Yeah, I watched that as well, and I expected a game between two highly competitive teams, and it did turn out to be that way. To be fair, I thought Middlesbrough deserved to win the game, to be honest, and they won the game 2-1. And West Brom had, I think is their second defeat in a row because the previous week they lost at home to Derby, having started the season very, very well. But there's nothing that suggests to me watching that game that Middlesbrough aren't going to be right up there. I think that that their problem in the last few seasons, and we've mentioned this in previous podcasts, has been consistency. I think they've got a good manager there in Rob Edwards. He knows the Championship very, very well. They got Luton promoted from the Championship a few seasons ago, and I think he's got Middlesbrough going, and I think that it's 2-1. I mean, they scored in the 20th. Yes,
Longthrow's are back.
They really are, yeah. And then I think Calais Sene scored in the 61st minute, and then West Brom got a late goal against Hegebo, is it? Or Hegebo, yeah, in the 90th minute.
Oh, but Middlesbrough's second goal was world class.
Yeah.
The one-touch passing, the quick movement, absolutely class goal. That's the kind of goal you look at, and every football fan's going to look at that and go, "I want my team to do that kind of football." It was just. They call it tiki-taka, don't they? One-touch movement, absolutely unreal.
But what I would say, I was watching that because before this was the Friday game, wasn't it? This one, and our team, Birmingham City, we've been sort of criticising our lack of goal-scoring chances, and I was watching the Middlesbrough West Brom game and thinking. That's like watching a Birmingham City game, and these are two quality teams here. So actually, maybe in my mind, I'm thinking maybe it's not as bad as what we were sort of thinking about the Blues, but I enjoyed that game, and I thought Middlesbrough just deserved to win that game.
You just give a conclusive statement about Borough saying they'll be up there. What are your thoughts for Albion this season?
I think again it's going to be consistency. So to lose at home to Derby, I think Middlesbrough is a place that a lot of teams are going to lose. So I don't think there's any any
shame in losing
none
there.
shame in there. But I think Derby's a strange team. We'll come on to them in their fixture in a bit. But I think they'll be very disappointed with losing Derby. But West Brom, talk about it's like in the Championship. It really is about consistency, isn't it? So you only have to have a few bad results. So they started the season absolutely flying. West Brom. Now they lost the last two. We know that feeling as Blues fans because we lost our last two before this weekend.
You're going to lose games though.
I think Albion, in my opinion, Albion will be in the mix of the playoffs. I don't think they'll be automatic. I think they'll be playoffs for me. Okay. In that sort of battle for that.
Okay, that brings us on to the 12:30 games on the Saturday, and of course we did a whole video on this yesterday, so please check that out if you want the finer details and the full-on breakdown of the game. But that's Birmingham City 1, Swansea 0.
Yeah, it was a game where Birmingham City, completely improved our shots and shots on target, which was our problem before. Late winner from Kieran Dykes, is that? Lyndon Dykes. And, in the end, I think, based upon our second half performance, I think we deserve the 3 points. However, Swansea, I think, were unlucky to have a disallowed goal that was given for offside. When you look back at it, it probably was onside. It's hard to tell conclusively, but in the end, we got the 3 points. I think Swansea will be fine. I think they play some decent football, but we deserve the 3 points. Yeah,
I was going to say, I can't really add much more to that apart from the full-on breakdown that we did yesterday, Dad. So that brings us on to I think they call it the M69 derby, which is Leicester 0, Coventry 0. I think a solid point for both teams here.
What surprised me was the 0-0.
Right, you thought there'd be goals?
I thought there'd be lots of goals in this.
Cagey though, aren't they? Sometimes these games.
Yeah, and that's obviously what happened in this. Although there was plenty of shots.
The Cov keeper, Dad, Cole Rushworth, really, really good. Made some outstanding saves.
Yeah,
really
from the highlights I saw, and again, you can correct me on this, fans, both Leicester and Coventry fans. I thought Leicester had the best of the chances in that game, although Coventry did have a few. But it ended up 0-0. I don't think either team will be disappointed with that because
exactly.
I think they both expect to be at least in the top 6. I've got a sneaking feeling that Coventry could make the top 2 this season. Right. But again, I know that's early days and what we've seen so far, but and they have drawn quite a lot of games already. But they haven't had the disaster they've had in the last 3 seasons where they started lost, hardly any points until game 8.
Yeah. At Christmas, normally the ongoing joke with my friends is that Coventry don't go until Christmas, then they go on an absolute late season tear.
I think that'll be fine, but I think that to draw. Obviously, we lost at Leicester a few weeks ago, so I think both teams will be fairly happy with that.
Yeah, and Cov are one of the 3 unbeaten teams in the Championship so far, so clearly they are going to be tough to beat this year. They go along with Middlesbrough. Actually, no, 2 now because it was Bristol City, but they lost to Oxford today. Sorry, so it's just Coventry and Borough.
Yeah, but then you argue with Coventry as well, where they've got to improve. They've only won 2.
Yeah, they're drawing a lot. I mean, they're on the same points as us.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So we've lost 2, but that's what I'm saying. So again, we're playing them next as well, so that's going to be a big game.
Yeah, tough game coming up, Dad. But that brings us on to our next and last 12:30 game on the Saturday, and that's QPR 1, Stoke 0.
They've turned it around, QPR, haven't they?
After that 7-1 drumming.
Yeah, well, they've won their last 3, and they are now level on points and 1 place below us in 9th. It's a good goal as well. Do you see it, Harvey Vale?
Yeah. It's creamy, wasn't it?
What a great strike that was. Yeah, we saw Stoke as well last week. They beat us, didn't they? And they looked quite solid. But again, it looked like a very, very close game.
They both had chances, Like I saw we can't sit there, Dad, and watch the full 90 minutes. So sometimes even the extended highlights can miss certain sections out. I've seen Blues games before, and I think, why have they missed that out?
Yeah.
So I do get that it's not a perfect highlight video sometimes, but they both had chances, QPR and Stoke. Stoke missed a couple of sitters. QPR had a couple of good chances. So actually, on paper, from what I saw, it looked like a pretty even game. But what a goal to win it.
It was fantastic.
Sometimes it takes a moment of class, doesn't it?
Well, the highlights I saw, QPR had by far the better chances, by far. And the Stoke goalkeeper, give me his name again, the Stoke goalkeeper.
Victor Janssen.
He made some fantastic saves.
He's a class keeper, isn't he?
Yeah, and actually, you look at the stats as well. So I thought the game was close. Actually, the stats say that QPR had 14 shots and 7 on target, and Stoke had 7 and 1 on target.
Yeah.
So
there was one chance for Stoke that it came across the box. It was easier to score than miss, and he somehow spooned it. He was wider over the bar, and I thought, how has he missed that?
Look like a decent game. But anyway, QPR won that, and they're on a bit of a roll now. So
they are
climbing the table.
In fact, in our summer video, Dad, QPR were my dark horses. So hopefully, although I wasn't saying that when they lost 7-1 at Coventry, I was thinking, oh no, I put my head down. But yeah, I mean, because they have a good attacking line, QPR. They're fast. They've got some flary players.
Yeah.
But anyway, Dad, that brings on to our next game, and this is a controversial one because 80 minutes gone, 1-0 up, Ipswich down to 10 men, the game gets abandoned. I mean, I say controversial. If the game and the pitch isn't fit for purpose, they have to postpone the game. But to be 10 minutes away, 1-0 up with 10 men on the Ipswich side, it's a tough one to take, that, isn't it?
From what I saw, though, Matt, that pitch, I mean,
No, it was
you
bad.
could not have carried on with that game.
It was bad.
It was really bad. I mean, the Blackburn fans will be absolutely gutted with that. And Ipswich fans will be absolutely okay. Obviously, I'm pretty sure that will be replayed. I can't see the league not requiring that to be.
So so apparently the EFL are allowing both teams to state their case for what they want the outcome to be, and
that's silly.
Apparently they'll make the decision on Monday.
What's the point of that? But Blackburn are going to say we want the game to stay. Ipswich are going to say, oh, we think you did the right thing.
There's 3 alternatives here, isn't there? One, they honour the 1-0 at 80 minutes and just say Blackburn get 3 points. They replay the whole thing at Ewood Park from minute 1, and it's 11 against 11, and it's a brand new game. Or they play the last 10 minutes with 10 men on an Ipswich team.
It won't be. It'll be number 2.
It'll be a complete replay.
I'm pretty sure. I'll be amazed if they don't have that completely replayed from scratch, from 0-0. So they just
I mean, imagine that was St.Andrews, Dad, and you won the look against Ipswich.
And against Ipswich as well, the Blackburn fans will be. And it's Todd Cantwell who scored the penalty as well, ex-Norwich player as well. But Ipswich will think that if they do replay that, which I think they will, then Ipswich got out of jail there.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah,
agreed. So I can't believe we managed to fill a minute or 2 on a postponed game. So next one, Dad, was again you mentioned this in the intro or your introductory remarks, and that was Derby 0, Preston 1.
They're such a strange team, Derby. they really are. I mean, they got their first win away at West Brom, and what a good win that was last season, and then losing 1-0
last week.
Last week, yeah. And then and then again, did you see this goal as well? Some great goals.
Yes, this was a screamer, wasn't it?
Oh my word, fantastic!
Top post, top of the post, and all the way around the air.
Alfie Devine, 1-0. Derby's problem. Listen to this, and we know about their. Although they have more possession in this, is that it's shots on target again. And it seemed to me when I watched the highlights of this as well that Preston had other chances to extend their lead as well. There didn't seem to be too many chances from Derby, but they've got to sort that out because and they can't be that team that wins away and then loses at home. If you want to sort
like
of
Norwich,
they're
all losing all their home games and winning on the road. It's bizarre.
But
what I will say, Dad, is I checked out the Derby social media again. If you watch this channel regularly, I like to do my research on the fans and where people are. And apparently, a lot of the book is stopping with Eustace. That might sound like a really obvious thing to say because he's the manager, but do you remember when he was in charge of Blues, Dad, and every single press conference it was, we're playing a top 6 team here. We're away from home. We're expected to lose. And all this. So I think the Derby fans were very upset with the negative setup of Derby being the home team.
Yeah,
he shouldn't have set them up the way he did.
But that's the way John Eustace plays. He did that at Birmingham City.
Exactly.
One thing I do find with John Eustace, I used to like him when he was at Blues, but the one thing I do say with him, when you look at his post-match or pre-match, you could literally press play and he has the same comments in virtually every single one.
Yeah. It's like a repeat Eustace teleprompter. But a surprise. And actually, is that a surprise result?
Preston are a good team. Preston are a good team.
They're in the 5th now.
They are after today. They're 5th.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think they could be in and around that by come the end of the season. It's early doors, I get that, but they've beat some good teams, Ipswich, Leicester.
Yep.
So they've made a very good start. So, Dad, that brings on to our next. And again, this it was a surprise because I didn't expect it. But is it a surprise with their form and the way they've started? Hull 3, Southampton 1. Is Will still in a bit of trouble?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Southampton are a club that would expect to go back up, and how patient are they going to be with their managers? They tend to, try new managers out. Apart from Ralph Hasenhüttl they had for a number of years, they can be quite ruthless, but they won't allow this to go on. I mean, Hull City as well, a team with a transfer embargo, and again some good goals in this as well. Yeah. And looks to me like Hull, deserve to win this game 3-1. Cole Joseph scored in the 22nd minute, and then John Lundstrom got his first goal in the 59th. Nolan McBurney again. I mean, what side this turned out to be for them? He's going to get them a lot of goals, and they got a late consolation with Adam Armstrong in the 90.
Good goals from Adam Armstrong, to be fair. I mean, to be fair, the whole goals were good as well. Well, 2 of them were good. I think.
Do you know what, Matt? From a Southampton's point of view, they're not going to remember that. They're going to remember they lost.
Of course, no. I'm just making a statement. Like, objectively, that was a very good goal from Armstrong. But what I liked about Hull, Dad, is when when they turn it on in a direct fashion, they're very good at getting balls in the box and
Yeah.
punishing you. And again, that's a compliment. It's again, some teams and fan bases get defensive over the word direct, but they were very good at long throws, corners, set pieces. They get the ball in the box and they're very good.
Well, a lot
Dangerous
of people thought they'd be in trouble this season, including me actually. And from what I've seen so far, they look like some of their play and some of their goals, and the fact they've got a proper target man, Ollie McBurney.
Yeah.
I've actually changed my mind. I don't think they're going to get playoffs or anything like that, but I think they'll be all right.
14th maybe, 15th.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So that brings on to, again, Dad, I kind of made a reference to this a bit earlier with the home form and the away form, and that's Norwich 2, Wrexham 3. What's going on at Carrow Road? I sounded like a Sky Sports presenter there, didn't I? What's going on at Carrow Road? And Chris Kamara, Dad.
No, they've traditionally been very, very strong at home, haven't they?
Yeah.
They haven't won yet. They've lost every single game so far, and their fans were not happy. I mean, when I looked at when they scored their consolation goal at the end, literally so many empty seats. I mean, but that's what fans do, isn't it? And fair play to Wrexham. I mean, they scored some good goals.
Josh Windas's goal,
yeah,
Dad, did you see it?
They were absolutely brilliant.
Cuts in from the left.
Yeah,
brilliant goal.
Fantastic.
That's that inversion paying off again. A player on the other side with his stronger foot cutting in can score those kind of goals. Great goal.
I mean, they had early chances as well. I mean, their goalkeeper made a few good saves. Norwich goalkeeper, and it could have been even worse for them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Jack Stacey scored first in the 39th. Then Josh Windass got his first goal in the 47th. Ryan Longman in the 54th, and then 59th again for Josh Windass. So they scored their 3 goals in the space of 12 minutes.
Yeah.
And
you can't do that at home.
No.
From a Norwich perspective, as good as those goals may or may not have been, that's poor, isn't it, for a home team?
But it's a great result for Wrexham.
Of course it is.
That is really. I mean, because they won at Millwall as well. They've got to sort their home form out. Hopefully not too soon because they're playing us soon. But Norwich, I don't know where Norwich go. I mean, they sold some decent players, haven't they? But they kept hold of Josh Sargent. And I'd have thought this is a game that he obviously, because he tends to score most games.
Yeah, good player.
But I think maybe it shows you what a good result and what a good performance it was from Wrexham.
Yeah. Also, Dad, you can put. I've said this before. You could have if Cristiano Ronaldo's not getting reception, he's not going to score goals, is he? So if Sargent's not getting the ball in the box, he's not going to score goals either. So
I must admit that raised my eyebrows. That result. Well done to Wrexham.
Well, fair play to him.
Yeah, well
fair
done.
play to him.
Yeah.
And this result made me laugh, Dad, because on our last week's fixture, you tipped Portsmouth to be doing very well, and they lose a home game to no disrespect to Sheffield Wednesday, but with everything they're going through on paper, you'd expect Portsmouth to win this.
Again, I thought this was a home banker. Well done, Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, fair play.
The position they're in with the what's going on off the field, well done.
Controversial second goal, though.
Well, let's go to the first goal first because it was a Barry Barron free kick, wasn't it?
Across the keeper.
Yeah, good free, and that's what Barry Barron does. So if you can see the free kick in that area, you're in trouble when he's on the pitch. But the second goal was controversial because their fullback pulled up with a hamstring. But then, is that a head injury? So why would you stop? Because it was,
It comes down to
sportsmanship.
Yeah, exactly. Like they have no right to kick the ball out. They can play on as much as like, but as a sportsman, do you kick it out?
I think if it was like a head injury or a player had like gone into the hoardings or something, like you'd stop it immediately. But it was a hamstring, you just pulled up.
But do you make the decision? Like he would have easily got that ball. He would have easily turned. He would have easily been in possession, and his hamstring quite literally just pulled him up. You see,
I don't know, man.
It's a difficult one, isn't it?
You can see both sides of the
argument.
But
if it was at St.Andrews, Dad, and we scored that way, what would you say? If you go, I'll take the 3 points, thanks.
Yeah, and then if it was us that conceded, we'd say, they should have stopped.
You'd be fuming. Exactly.
I don't think Sheffield Wednesday should be ashamed at all. I think that that they have every right to go on. And the fact it's not their fault that he got injured.
Yeah.
And you've got sportsmanship and remember that years and years ago when Paolo Di Canio for West Ham
handballed it.
Handballed,
just picked it up.
He just picked it up and they said like that. Yeah, but not everyone's going to do that. They were 1-0 up anyway, and that second goal, mind you, that was quite early on. Was it early on? 50th minute, the second goal.
Sorry, Dad, but in that second goal, it reminded me. Do you remember when Leeds and Villa played and they played on when it went down? But that was different because it looked like the game had stopped and they went through. But there's been a couple of moments based around sportsmanship in the past couple of years, hasn't there? It's quite controversial.
Yeah,
but
interesting. It'd be interesting to get viewers' thoughts on that. So add comments below whether you think that should have, the play should have stopped, or they should have carried on. I personally think that they had every right to carry on.
Yeah. I think, Dad, that's one of those cases, exactly like we just said. If you've scored that goal, you say, yes, I don't care, we're carrying on. If you concede that goal, you're fuming.
Yeah.
So I think you can see both sides to it, can't you?
Yeah.
Okay, then, Dad, so...
Just a couple
more, and sadly, the news continues for Sheffield United. Obviously, they've recently reappointed Chris Wilder, and they lost 1-0 at home to Charlton. Dad, what are your thoughts on this?
Again, it surprised me. I mean, not the fact that Charlton won, because they're a decent team, Charlton, and I think they're going to
stubborn, aren't they, man? Nathan Jones does have them set up well,
and what a way to win as well.
90 plus something. 90,
yeah, Isaac Alafe in the 90th minute. Good ball come from the right, and it was bad marking in my opinion. He was just free in the box, and Sheffield United will be very, very disappointed with that.
Question, Dad. Sheffield United, are they in any danger of getting relegated?
Well, the league table at the moment says that they are, because they're bottom of the table, played 6, lost 6. But I think over the course of the season that Chris Wilder will sort them out.
They've lost a lot of players, though. Not the team they were last year.
Yeah, but they're still, even with the squad they've got, they'll be fine. But they've got to start picking points up quickly, because the longer this goes on, it becomes a mentality thing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Fair play to Charlton. Good victory for them. Very good victory to win at Sheffield United. No matter what form they're in, it's a good place to go and win. And Nathan Jones would have been absolutely going nuts on the side, I'd imagine. Didn't see it, but fair play. Sheffield United, got a lot of work to do, and like I say, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, completely agreed. And even with Chris Wilder, I think he's got a task on his hands to get these firing, because they're not the team they were. They've let a lot of people go, and they've sold a lot of players as well. But I do take your point. I think they will be okay over the course of the season, for sure.
Well, one thing I will say to Sheffield United, thank you for Jack Robinson.
Yeah.
He made his debut for us against Swansea, and it was absolutely fantastic. Yeah. So thanks.
We'll just take Hamer off you in January, and we'll be buzzing them. Okay then, Dad. So that brings us on to the last of the weekend games. But of course, as you referenced, Millwall play Watford on the Monday evening, which we can't cover because we're filming this on Sunday. And this game finished a couple of hours ago, and that was Bristol City 1, Oxford United 3.
Another game with some fantastic goals. Did you watch the goals?
I saw that.
Oh my word, they were fantastic. I mean, the Prelec scored the first goal. Yeah. That was a really, really good goal. That was in the 19th minute. But the standout goal for me was Placheta.
Placheta. He was at Blues?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, well, they bought him from Norwich, but he was on loan at us a few seasons ago. What a goal. Outside the area, right in the top bin, wasn't it? Oh, my word. Sheffield United, what am I talking about? Bristol City had a great goal come back. Mehmeti as well scored to make it 2-1. And then they scored a free kick in the final kick of the game. It was Brian de Kirchmacher. I love saying that name. Brian de Kirchmacher, who literally crossed it straight. Now, I think it went straight in, but they gave the goal to Greg Lee, because I think it hit the top of his hair bubble.
Yeah. Oh, right, okay.
And
I didn't notice that. I'll have to watch that back again.
I think it went straight in.
Yeah, I think it went straight in.
But I think he must have literally just clipped the top of his hair. But
someone on social media is going to zoom 20 on that and prove our point.
If I was brought to Kirchmacher, I'd say, that's Michael, you're not having that. But they won't give a hoot. I mean, that was a fantastic result. Because that's their first defeat of the season. They've been scoring loads of goals.
Ashton Gate's now going to be a tough place to go.
He really will. And, fair play to Gary Rowett and the way he obviously set them up. They've got some really good players in that team,
Yeah.
And
Gary Rowett, Dad, again, a solid championship manager. Don't underestimate him. He's solid, Although a lot of Oxford fans were questioning, I think after they lost to us, they were like, we kind of lost our identity. Is Rowett on borrowed time? And I think a lot of Oxford fans are saying since the second half of the Coventry game, where they got a draw against Coventry at home, they've just been outstanding.
Yeah.
So again, I have nothing against Oxford. I like Rowett. I hope they have a decent season again. It's good to have a bit of a mix-up in the Championship. Obviously, this is their second season, isn't it? So they could be prone to having a negative one this year. But fair play to them to go Bristol City and win 3-1. Well, I was jealous of, Dad? I love Ashton Gate. I was jealous of the Oxford fans getting to cheer there 3 times. I love it, Ashton Gate. That's a compliment to Bristol City. It's a great place to go. I love it. Yeah. And, brilliant for Oxford.
But it just shows you, again, like we said right at the beginning, this will finish with this, is that it shows you the Championship. Bristol City, unbeaten. Oxford haven't won a game. And Oxford go there and they win their first game. Bristol City lose there. It just shows you, in a nutshell, that game is typical Championship.
Exactly.
It's been a very good week, hasn't it?
It's been a surprising week. Like I said, lots of shocks in there. I say shocks, lots of games that you'd think that the other team maybe were nailed on to win, or quite a few surprises in there. So, yeah, again, Championship never disappoints, does it, Dad? And good for us, some of these results, because when the teams around us aren't picking up points, it's obviously good for Blues as well. So.
It is, but it's still a current form table.
Of course it is.
So,
of course it is. I think we've got another half a dozen games until we really sort of settle down.
10
really.
games plus, it starts to sort of.
What are we now, 5 or 6 now?
We're at the 6 now.
Okay, so we've got another 4 or 5 games until it starts to settle down a little bit and take shape. But even then, Dad, I'd say all the way up until sort of, mid-November, really, in the build-up to Christmas.
First week in May, innit?
But yeah, so as we said, Dad, the Millwall-Watford game is tomorrow evening, so we won't be covering that. But is there any final thoughts before we close the video out?
No, not really. I just, as I said in previous video podcasts that we do for these game week reviews, is that it's just for us. It's just so nice being back in the Championship, to be part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Not when we was in League One, we was looking at these from a distance last season, but now we're actually right in there in the mix, and we are having.
It's like we never left, though. To me, fair enough.
And by the way, 13 seasons before that,
exactly. But that isn't disrespectful to League One. It felt like League One was a bit of a stop-off tour, and the Championship feels like home. We feel more settled here. It feels like it's where we're meant to be, and as I say, some good results there, and roll on game week 7 where we play Coventry away.
Yeah.
But as always, Birmingham City supporters, we'd love to hear from you. Maybe you've seen your club on the thumbnail. Maybe you've seen these videos before. We'd love to hear from any one of the teams that we've mentioned as well. Please drop your comment in the section below. As long as you keep it clean, no swearing, no foul or abusive language, and keep it respectful as well. That would be fantastic. And if you like this video specifically, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and check us out on our social media channels. We have an X page, we have an Instagram page, and we're also on Spotify, so you can listen and watch us over there. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and press that bell icon so you get notifications every time we post a video. And myself and Dad will see you on the next one, all about Birmingham City.